as an action because there's no cost. There's no cost to council for that.
Yes.
So
No, that's right. Yeah, good photo. Lovely photo.
noted.
Thank you.
Noted.
Okay, so now we have Bethany and Jackie from the Styx Living Laboratory Trust, please. Nope.
Kia ora. My name is
there you go.
Bethany.
On
I'm the
Zoom.
Conservation Project Coordinator at the Trust, and I'm joined by Jackie Howard, who is our Community Coordinator. So the Trust, we're a local river care group. We're a volunteer-led organisation, and I'd like to thank our environmental advocacy volunteers for preparing our submission. So the Puharakiki Nui catchment, it's over 7,000 hectares, and the Awa itself is one of the three main Christchurch rivers in Ōtautahi. It's 24.8 kilometres in length, with the headwaters starting out by Nunwit Park and it then emptying out into Brooklands Lagoon. Unfortunately, we're often the forgotten river of Ōtautahi, and many residents aren't aware of the Styx environs, the hidden gems in the catchment, and recreational opportunities in the area. So we're trying to raise the profile of the Puharakiki Nui. So we were born out of the Styx vision, 2000 to 2040. So that was over 20 years ago, and as part of that vision, it specified 5 key elements, and one of the one that we were born out of was to create a living laboratory for learning and research in the catchment. So we support the other Christchurch City Council 4 visions, but our primary function is for learning and research. So we undertake quite a few different activities, including weed control, pest control, environmental advocacy, environmental education, and research projects. We like to try and do quite a few different innovative research projects to ensure that we're keeping our knowledge up to date and that we can do the best to protect the Puharakiki Nui environs. And we also undertake a significant amount of forest and riparian planting. So we're planting just under 40,000 trees this season. And we couldn't do this work without our fantastic MOU partners. And we also undertake a wide range of volunteer activities, and many of these initiatives have been going on for 13 years, to some of our newer programs that we've just started up, such as our field volunteer program. So I'm just going to pass over to Jackie, who's going to discuss the details of our submission.
Thank you, Bethany. I was muted. So for our general comments on the submission, the first one is that the Trust generally supports the draft annual plan and in particular supports flood protection investment in the Puharakiki Nui catchment, including 60386 SWFM flood model build Styx and citywide renewal, which is vital for the catchment. The stormwater runoff and flooding affects all waterways in Christchurch, but more particularly the Puharakiki Nui and its main tributaries, which have been historically prone to flooding and stormwater contamination during significant rainfall events. This is even more prevalent with increased development in the catchment area and with future climate change effects. The next comment that we would like to support is the funding allocated for 60460 SWWE Styx River Tributaries Naturalization. However, we do recommend that the project be started as soon as possible by moving it into this financial year budget, or at least ensuring the necessary details and planned start time are set in advance to ensure the completion in the 2024 to 2025 budget. Work in this area will greatly aid in the reduction of stormwater runoff into the Puharakiki Nui and its tributaries during future flooding events. Lastly, we would like to comment on the funding allocated for 65209 Styx River Puharakiki Nui Regional Parks Restoration Development. Restoration of the regional parks within the catchment invites more members of the community to not only enjoy these spaces, but to connect with the river and other natural amenities these parks have to offer. This also helps support Vision 4 of that Styx document that Bethany mentioned, which is to establish the Styx as the place to be. Next slide, please. And further, for recommendations, I'll try to get this as quickly as possible. We would very much like to have the continuation of community partnerships funding to trusts like our own. Many of the activities that we do as a trust would not be possible without support from council. For example, the leasing of our field center and any land acquisition that needs to be done. And as we are on that limited funding, there's uncertainty about the future of the trust in terms of the work that we can accomplish, in terms of the other visions that we try and work on as well. And the next recommendation is reducing the scale of deferrals to the Styx protection and control of growth projects in the Styx mill detailed on page 76. And we would just like we're pleased with flood protection maintenance that's still being carried out, but we are concerned that the large deferrals and growth projects means that the actual risk and damage from flood events in the Styx will not reduce in the near term. Keeping more of the core improvements for projects for Styx flood protection in the near-term budgets will pay dividends in decreased flood risks. We would also like to maintain the delivery package natural waterways funding for this year and in subsequent years. For what we can understand, there is currently a $400,000 spread across Christchurch City next year, dropping to $176,000 the following year and ending completely after this. This funding package is critical to the success of the Styx Living Laboratory Trust and our project Kotari. And this funding has enabled us to engage contractors to do things like large tree removal that's beyond our scope and paying for plants that Project Kotari then plants and manages. This funding also forms a vital part of the City Council, Styx Living Laboratory Trust, and Ministry for Environment partnership that the City Council have signed on to. Without this funding in the latter years of our project, it may be that we are unable to meet our agreed KPIs nor community support. And lastly, we would like to prioritize the prevention of further illegal encroachment by landowners erecting fencing along riverbanks. It's been a major issue for the naturalization and restoration of the riparian margins along the Puhatakikinui, Kaputahi, and Snacks Creek, as many local landowners are allowing their livestock to enter the river's edge by having their fences either in the water or on the edges. And allowing landowners to do so degrades the water quality through increased erosion, sedimentation, and runoff of pollutants, particularly during high rainfall and flooding events. There's also a high cost to our trust as well as council to resurvey these property boundaries in order to gain access to private land for restoration planting. And that, I believe, is everything that we have to say. I apologize for going over time, and if you have any questions, please let us know.
No, unfortunately, we haven't got time for questions, but thank you for a very comprehensive presentation. Thank you.